Hello and welcome to Voices Unheard, produced by Unicorns.LIVE. I'm your host, Jessica Samuels. Thank you for joining us here this evening as we share with you the underrepresented voices and stories in our community. And my guest this evening is...
Alaina Young.
Okay, and what are you here to tell us, Alaina?
I'm going to talk about what it's like being fat and fabulous.
Fat and fabulous.
Yes.
We will talk about that.
All right.
Okay. Before we get started, I would like to say that I would like to acknowledge rather that we work, live, and play on the ancestral, traditional, and unceded lands of the Okanagan Nation and Syilx people. I'd like to say thank you to Canada Kelowna Hotel and Conference Center for hosting us here this evening, and I would like to say thank you to sponsors Kelowna Pride and Castanet Media. Before we get to that statement, Alaina, I would like to read your submission. So we ask people to submit why they want to be a part of the show, and I'd like to read yours. So in her words, however you want to call it, plus size, full-figured, curvaceous, I am a fat woman. I'm 32 years old, 5 feet tall, and around 250 pounds. So suffice it to say, I live a difficult life dealing with how my body is perceived in a society of Insta models. While I am consistently trying to improve my health by way of exercise and healthy eating, to say that people's negative perception takes a toll on your mental health is an understatement. My size does not make me less than human. And that's the message I'd like to share with your viewers and anyone who will listen for that matter. Okay, so how did it feel as you wrote that?
Empowering? You know, terms are so thrown around these days, you know, both insulting fashion and an empowering fashion. We try to be gentle and use words like plus size and stuff, you know. Personally, I prefer like bootylicious, okay. Or on clothing labels you see queen size. I like that a lot. It all comes down to being fat. I mean, everybody's like, yeah, you're larger than the average size, so you're fat. It has such a negative connotation, and it's just what I want to do, what I strive to do is, take the negative connotativity like back from that and reclaim it. It's like, I'm fat, and I am proud to be fat, and you can call me that all day long, and I will just say thank you and move along.
Love it. I feel like I have nothing more to say. Okay, so done. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for everyone coming.
What a bold statement. And so you prefer fat. Yeah. Are you okay with the other phrases, plus size, or do you see it as, I don't know, condescending or?
Not necessarily, no. I think everybody... they try to be polite, about it. And I mean, I get that. You never know what people like to be called, but, I will be called anything, really.
Okay. Have you always been okay with that?
No. Gosh, no. It took a lot to get here, to get to this point. Having been, a little on the bigger size pretty much all my life. It's definitely growing up, being the chubby kid picked last in sports and stuff like that. I mean, absolutely. Going through high school, kids are cruel. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it took a lot to kind of learn to love myself and learn to be okay in the skin that I am in. So I've reached a point where it's like, I'm comfortable with who I am. And that is kind of what I want to share with everybody is that it is possible to be like this and have a positive outlook and be okay with how you look and what people say to you. Forget the haters. Haters are going to hate. Mm-hmm. And you can't always fit into the little, pegs that, people want to pigeonhole you into. And, I've spent years going back and forth, being okay with myself, being okay with my size, only to face negativity, face internet trolls, that have just like pushed me back into that little oh God, I don't want to be seen in public. I'm on an upswing again, and I really hope it sticks this time because, more and more we're coming out these days, we're seeing representation in media, and not just, larger people in starring roles in TV and movies, which is just awesome. But, in other communities too, the LGBTQ, people of color, and I think everybody who is, we're all coming out and saying, like, we're not all blonde, fair-haired, skinny models anymore. It's like we want to see humans out there. And I think I've totally just, taken a topic and run away with it. What did you ask again?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to a lot.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
That's great.
We have time.
Yeah, you've set the stage. So let's talk about your back and forth journey. And you said you're on an upswing. I was going to ask you when you were ready to, or when did you finally embrace the fat, the body, who you are. But it sounds like it's been a back and forth.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much out there on the internet. There's so much negativity and hate on the internet right now. It's like, God forbid I, show something off that I'm proud of and say, look what I made. There's always going to be that internet troll that's like, well, hey, maybe you should put that down and step on a treadmill. And I'm like, how about you eat glass and develop a sharper wit?
No.
So
are you commenting back to the trolls on social media in that way?
You know what? I look back at all the missed opportunities where I should have and didn't. Unfortunately, I did let those trolls, those haters get to me, and tears and shame, and you go through stages of like, oh my God, I'm fat, I'm never gonna eat again, to, oh my God, like I'm suffering, give me a burger. And there's always that, almost that shame that I don't, you're right, like I don't look like that. But, it had to come to a point where that was just eating way too much into my mental health. I've been fortunate enough to have a wonderful partner who saw through this and, saw the person inside that was capable of love and humor, and that I had so much more to offer. And that offered a lot of confidence in me. And I decided that instead of wearing this fat on my body, I decided to wear this confidence instead. And it was really a major mind change once I just kind of learned to embrace that. Like, confidence is the sexiest thing you can wear. And when I kind of came around to that understanding, everything changed. I was smiling more, I was able to accomplish more goals and strive and, work myself into a better job. And
so when you're the confidence and feeling better about yourself, are you no longer concerned or focused on losing weight?
No,
Okay.
Absolutely not. Obviously, to be blind to the negative health effects of the extra weight that can bring. To be blind to that would be just delusional. Absolutely. Just being of this size, have so many health issues, diabetes, heart disease, God, you name it. But it takes a major mind shift focus. Before, when I was letting those haters and those negative thoughts and everything bog me down, the last thing I wanted to do was work on myself because I just hated myself so much. But when I learned to love myself, I also learned to love my body and realize that, I want to make myself healthier. So, it was, one day, joined a gym, and COVID kind of threw a wrench in that, but we're trying to get back into it. We have, trying to make those changes in my diet and everything to kind of, work towards a better place. Am I there yet? Oh, no. But those little changes that you can do, that you're comfortable with, that you can work into your routine, it's just going to be better for you. And
why do you think, as a society, we associate, your last statement aside, we associate skinny with automatically being healthy and carrying extra pounds automatically being unhealthy?
Where
do you think that comes from?
Oh, gosh. I think it's people's fear really. People are afraid of things that they don't know. You know, the more we can kind of openly talk about, like, we know we're fat. You don't necessarily have to be fat like this. I mean, people associate being fat with, you know, being lazy and eating a lot of junk food, and which is like so not the case. I mean, there's so much physiology involved. And I think people are afraid that, you know, they're going to look like that if they become lazy and stuff. But it's, no, there's so much physiology behind it that to find yourself large, you know, it takes a lot, and it's in your DNA. So, you know, I think people are just afraid that they might become that, or maybe they're just repulsed by it, which is sad, but true, very true. I mean, people see, you know, the fat people on the beach, and
right.
You know, they make that face. And which unfortunately is a sad reality to, you know, people like me who, you know, are maybe a bit more, see that a little bit more. But
do you think that social media has made it worse? I mean, we often, social media can be blamed. We dump a lot on social media, right? It's all the social media.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially in your bio, you talk about Insta models. Do you think it's really drawn that need as individuals to be Insta perfect?
Absolutely. I think social media has definitely, you know, driven a lot of people into like, oh, well, my life has to be absolutely perfect. I have to have the perfect pose and have the perfect hair all the time and just be like Insta ready. But, and you know, like, you know, you don't see like, you know, large people like doing TikToks and stuff. But at the same time, too, there's also, you're able to reach out and meet other people. And, you know, through social media, I've actually found and admired some plus size models as well. And I'm going, all right, you go, girl.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you kind of got to scroll through and see those negative comments like, you're not healthy. Why are you perpetuating this idea that, you know, being fat is being beautiful, and, you know, you're perpetuating people wanting to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's not it. We're just trying to help people love themselves. Fat is not going to fall off overnight. There is absolutely nothing wrong with loving yourself. In, you know, while that is happening. So it's everybody's on their own journey. Like,
when in 2016, Ashley Graham was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and first of its kind plus size model. How did that happen? How did that impact you?
oh, tremendously. You know, you know, even though I go and say, oh, she's plus size, oh, I wish I was.
That's another question, because I feel like in like anything, there's degrees, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know, applause for anybody, you know, with curves, you know, getting recognition and saying that, you know, I can be curvy and healthy. Is just, I mean, it's a mind changer. It's a game changer.
Right.
You know, other like Tess Halliday. Halliday. Apologies to her if I'm totally pressing that wrong. But just saying like, I can be beautiful and fat. And, you know, some of you are going to be repulsed by it, but a lot of you are going to be like, that's cool. Good for her. And I think it really gives a lot of, you know, oomph for me going like, you know, not everybody has to find me, you know, funny or pretty, and that's okay. They're wrong, but that's okay.
And fabulous. Don't forget about fabulous.
You should guys. Thank you.
You talked about internet trolls and the like. What about how else has your weight caused you to have some negative responses or discrimination in your life? Because you say this has gone on for.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people, you know, okay, we are in Canada. We are a bit more of a polite society and stuff, so people aren't going to stop you on the, you know, saying, hey, you know, you need to be healthier. So
Yeah.
that's great. But no, like on a hot summer day, you know what? Yes, I am. I'm going to go and enjoy an ice cream. And, you know, I'm not going to feel shamed by it, but, you know, you're still going to see those, like, little looks and stuff. That's like, I hope that's low fat.
Right.
Like,
Instantly judging you.
Those little judgments. That's just like, let me live, woman.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. It is. But some of the best pieces of advice that I've heard recently is, people don't think about you the way you think about yourself.
Okay.
And I think that really kind of hit me hard, where saying that, yeah, okay, you know what, this woman is like a little judgy, or, you know, I'll go to the beach and, you know, I'll be in my swimwear. And, you know, yeah, okay, you might get those little bit of looks there, but you know what, really? People don't care. I mean, excuse my crassness, but people are so wrapped up in their own bullshit that they don't really care about you. You know, so they may, you know, have that little look, or, you know, that little whisper comment, but at the end, I mean, you're barely a blip in their day, you know.
Do you mean, how do you mean that? Do you mean that they're concerned in their own mind about how they're tucking in on their bathing suit? Oh, and not even that.
Just, you know, it's like, you know, well, she shouldn't be wearing that, but my favorite sports team is playing tonight. So it's like, or, oh, but, you know, I got to deal with Bill at work tomorrow. You know, people are just so concerned in their own lives that, you know, really, you know, we're building this all up in our minds too, that, I don't know, maybe that woman wasn't looking at me like that. You know, maybe I'm just so caught up in my own self that I didn't, you know, I was perceiving that wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, but to kind of realize that, you know what, she really doesn't care. I should care what she thinks. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was kind of a game changer a bit.
Are you from the Okanagan?
I'm originally from Kamloops.
Okay.
But I've lived in the Okanagan for many years now.
I wonder too about your thoughts on the diversity of color and size and ethnic background changes in the communities you are in, and perhaps the cultures you're from. Do you have thoughts on that?
I think just being from Canada and BC, I don't know, I think we're a little bit more accepting to other cultures. Mm-hmm. Just, I don't totally could be off base here, but just my perceptions. And I think as every year goes on, and I'm not going to say this is region specific, more just like year specific, really. Mm-hmm. That every year goes on, people are just learning more about other cultures, other people, other skin colors, other sexual orientations, other body types, and we're just a little bit more embracing of it every step of the way. And, you know, I would like to see, you know, years down the road when it doesn't matter what you look like, who you're with, what color your skin is, we are all treated equal. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I can't wait for that day to come. Right.
And we talked a little bit about Ashley and Tess, and we touched on it a little bit, but when you see those body types and like that out there in real life, out there in social media, what does that do for you?
Oh, it's really nice. You know, even just, you know, real people. When I could see another, you know, big girl at the beach, I'm like, good for you. You know, when I go to the gym and, you know, you get all the Insta models out there, you know, girls that, you know, barely pick up a weight, but they pick up their phone 17 times. So it's really nice to go out there and see other girls like working just as hard as me, you know, getting out there, lifting weights, getting on that treadmill for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's so good to see them. And, you know, when they're at the beach and, you know, they're wearing their cute little swimsuit, I'm like, good for you. Nothing should stop us. Everybody is a beach body. If you're on the beach and you're a body, you have a beach body.
Right. You don't need to get beach ready.
Exactly.
You get beach ready by putting on your bathing suit.
Exactly. And grabbing that towel and sunscreen. Don't forget the sunscreen. Melanoma's no joke.
Little PSA there for you all. Well, and what about the other side of it? And I'd be interested in your thoughts, because I have heard individuals who are quite thin say that they too get shamed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, nobody should be shaming anybody's body. Absolutely. I mean, I'm so guilty for it, and I apologize to every girl who's really skinny, and I said, girl, you should eat a burger. They're really good. Because the opposite is true. I mean, absolutely nobody should be judged on how they look and their body types. Everybody is built differently from the ground up. You never know what people have gone through to make them the way they are. And I mean, judgments like that should really not exist.
So how do you embolden yourself in your day-to-day? You know that you are going to encounter haters or whomever.
I mean, the little, realizations, like I mentioned earlier, like, nobody, you don't think about yourself the way other people do.
I mean,
every day I wake up and I put a smile on and I say, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to go home and I'm going to enjoy, sitting at home with my partner and, the comfort of my cats. And, this is how I'm choosing to live my life. And I'm comfortable with it. I'm happy in my current situation. And what does it really matter what other people think of it,
Sounds like there's and you've said a lot of work there, and you and I previously talked about the toll on the mental health.
Oh, absolutely.
Well.
I mean, coming around to the mental health, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been so long into this interview we could first get to talk about mental health and how crucial it is, in relation to your body. I mean, you can't improve this health until you improve this health. And I absolutely encourage anybody who is struggling with their body to you look into your mind and look into yourself and try to find those mental barriers that are preventing you from helping yourself. We're so open about mental health these days, and oh my gosh, that is such a revelation. I mean, compared to 15 years ago when people were still talking about it like hush hush, it's like, back in high school, it's like, oh, I heard she's on antidepressants, so that's, But and then I'm talking with people in my early 20s, and I'm sitting at a table with a group of friends, and it's like, oh, we're all on either anti-anxiety or antidepressants, and
it's old news. We're all on it.
we're all on it these days, and to address those mental health concerns is so important. Seeking your doctor, seeing what you can do, seeing a therapist, and try to overcome some of those barriers. Like, what is stopping you? And
what were some of the barriers for you?
For me, I mean, yes, I've dealt with depression a lot. I can't say that it's not been related to my body and my size, which has caused some of that depression in my life. It is cyclical. You get depressed because you're fat, and you get fatter because you're not treating your mental health properly, and then you're still fat.
Yeah. So how do you break that cycle?
It took a lot of introspection. For me, it took a little bit of medication. It took, connecting with other people online, in my social circles, to kind of learn that, build myself up a little bit more. To kind of, break those negative thought habits. And it kind of it led to a breakthrough eventually for me. And I really hope that, I can encourage anybody out there to really do what they can to help improve their mental health.
Well, and we talked earlier, and you said that you were on a bit of a crusade. Oh, yes. You were dipping your toe into the crusade world, and yeah. I appreciated that statement because one, that's a lot of pressure on you, and for someone who goes back and forth,
Yeah.
But you shared a little bit about really wanting to create that sense of connection and community for others who may be struggling.
Absolutely.
And I want to clarify, not struggling with their weight, struggling with their positive mental health associated with how they look.
Exactly. To come out of that negative mind cycle and to embrace yourself. Absolutely, I encourage anybody else to reach out and talk with me about it. I've been told I have an infectious, positive personality, and I'd like to share that with people, which is why I'm here tonight.
Yeah.
Sharing this with you. I'm on the socials. Instagram, you can find me at, Instagram and Twitter at littlebitalaina. I'm happy to talk with anybody who wants to meet and, discuss, those barriers that, to encourage people to just kind of break out of that a little bit more, and by way of improving their mental health and therefore their physical health.
Yeah, because we know that when you have a sense of community and belonging and connected, those are really the foundation and the determinants, some of the determinants of good mental health. And if we're stuck in that cycle, which I think in this instance we're talking about weight, but that cycle is there for so many people for so many things.
So many things, yes. I can't get a good job because I can't break out of my cycle, and I can't break out of my cycle until I make money. And
right.
Oh my gosh, that's just one example off the top of my head, which I've caught myself in, previously.
And did COVID play a role in that as well? You mentioned that you were just getting into the gym membership.
Yes, I was working really hard, and then COVID hit, and I kind of closed my gym, and I was like, oh, damn.
And how far does that set you back? Emotionally?
Emotionally, I was so lucky that even during COVID, I was able to kind of keep working. So I was able to kind of keep that sense of routine. And I think what it did is, I was still trying to go out for walks and stuff that I could do. Oh, I bought a bike.
Okay.
That didn't go very well.
Oh, no, why not?
My knee still hurts, and my bike's a little bit scratched up from when I fell.
Okay. All right. Careful on the bike, please.
Anybody want to buy a bike?
Slightly used.
Turns out you can learn to forget how to ride a bike.
Okay. Okay. So, but you were looking for options, and
I was looking for options. One thing that really, COVID was so, it wanted us to separate socially, but I think as a community, it really brought me together, so many of us together, and me. I found myself wanting to reach out to little communities, and I found myself wanting to be more involved in things, and going, oh man, I wish I could reach out and volunteer there, except COVID's kind of closed that right now. Oh, I'd love to go out there and meet those people, and COVID is not allowing me to do that right now, which is another reason why when I saw the beautiful write-up on Castanet about Unicorns.LIVE and what they were trying to do and represent in the community, I went, that I can do.
And you are, and,
and here I am.
And this is exactly what the point of it is. What is the ultimate goal for yourself then on this journey? What do you kind of say, this is where I want to be, whether it is mental or physical? What is that goal for you?
I would be happy to just encourage others out there to better themselves through a sense of community. And if I can just, help one person, either help somebody who's maybe struggling with their body image go, yeah, she's got the right idea, wear confidence instead of, frumpy clothing. Wear a smile. That's so important. If I can just inspire one person to do that, then, I feel great. For me, it's like, I don't go by the numbers on a scale. It's scary. Don't like to look at that. I go by how I feel. And, the more times I go to the gym, the stronger I feel. I don't care about clothing sizes. But, when I could walk up that hill higher and further and faster than I could previously, that feels great. And if I could encourage, other people to join me on that, join me on their journey, that's what I want to accomplish, is weight loss, physical improvement, whether it's to you're too thin and it's unhealthy and you want to gain weight, or you're too big and you want to lose weight, or you're just not happy in your own skin. To better yourself is a journey. There is a destination. For some people, it's months down the road. Some people, it's years down the road. And, you want to share the journey with others and talk about your experiences and, share the joy of your little accomplishments along the way. because let me tell you, is when you are able to set those little goals, walk up that hill faster, lift that extra set of weights, the feeling is so good. And, you want to share that with people.
And don't associate it with a number.
And don't associate it with the numbers. Don't do that. That's getting back into the negative thought cycle. Because when that day when those numbers aren't as low as you thought they were going to be, or God forbid they go back up, you're getting yourself back in that negative cycle.
Have you been in that position where you've been focusing on the numbers and it's gone higher? You had made some really great
I thought I was doing great. Why is it not? No. Try to avoid that. Get rid of, in your life what is causing that negative thoughts, and push that aside, and just want to focus on the positive and what's good and the things that you enjoy doing. And that too is, just because you're on a weight loss journey, or your self-improvement journey, doesn't mean you can't enjoy the things that bring you joy. You can enjoy that cake at your friend's birthday party, and you can enjoy that ice cream cone on a hot summer day. If it brings you joy, don't push it out of your life. It's all about balance. Okay, maybe you just walk a little bit extra the next day, or, you sub your fries for a salad. Those little changes that, can make all the difference. And at the end of the day, you will feel proud that you didn't sacrifice your happiness, and you are striving to improve yourself.
Talk about the importance of your support network. You've mentioned your husband, and he's joining us in the audience here this evening. Talk about your support network, your husband and others who are with you on this journey.
Luckily, my parents are such lovely people. They've actually just gone through their own weight loss journeys themselves, and they look wonderful, and I'm so proud of them. They've gone through their ups and downs as well. But they're really such an encouragement for me as well. I'm very grateful for the people I work with to allow me to, embolden myself, striving career-wise, and, and just the people, that I meet online too. The internet is such an amazing community when you reach those right communities and push away the trolls.
Yes, it can be.
It can be.
Sometimes. How you mentioned something interesting about work. Do you feel that how you look has held you back in any part of your career, or held you back in life at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very specific memory that I try to forget, but it's always there. Is remember one time, catching 3 buses to get to a job interview, only to show up, have the guy look me head to toe and say, well, I also have a job at a gas station. It's like, no, I kind of wanted to work at your beautiful smoothie stand, but apparently you're only hiring thin, pretty girls. So that sucked.
Yeah.
But, I went 3 buses back home feeling pretty awful. Yeah. But, you move on, you go to the next opportunity, and like I said, the most important thing you can wear is confidence. And when you can go into an interview and, just bring everything to the table and say, here I am, I'm awesome. That is going to get you more opportunities than, being thin and pretty.
Before we wrap up, you touched on it a little bit, but let's myth bust here. Let's demystify. What are some common misperceptions you think people may have about individuals who are plus size, curvaceous, fat, all of the descriptors?
Immediately some of the misconceptions. Oh my gosh, you must be so unhealthy. It's like, well,
right.
Yeah, okay. Maybe if I continue this, a horrible lifestyle, maybe okay, I'm gonna get there. But it's not like I'm crawling with disease. They perceive me as, oh, well, you're big, so you're just fat and lazy. It's like, well, no, actually, I do live a fairly active lifestyle,
right.
And I do enjoy a lot of salads.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that it goes back to the earlier statement that if you carry extra weight and whatever, then clearly you are not eating right and you're not exercising. And I think you touched upon sometimes it is not always that simple.
It's not always that simple.
I
no.
grew up on, calories out have to be more than calories in. And where that might be the basis of science, it's not always the case.
Not always the case. No, God, no. I come from a genetic lineage of like fairly large, like Germanic women. And, my genes are basically saying like, oh, it's a famine, you face. Oh, let's keep your body plump as a partridge until the harvest. And
I have a girlfriend who says the same thing. She says that if she works out more and eats less, her body, which is historically the same, says it's time to like hold fast to everything.
Yeah.
Hold on to everything.
exactly.
That's hilarious. Just your accent, it was funny.
I'm actually kind of concerned by my German genes.
I wasn't going to
have
ask.
an Irish accent.
My geography is not that bad, but I'm pretty sure. It was fun nonetheless. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here all night.
Yeah. Yes. But the point is that the physiology of it, there's more to it.
So much.
Yeah.
I mean, from DNA down, some bodies are built to shed that weight. I mean, gosh, I knew a girl who ate nothing but white bread, white rice, and fast food. She was a size 2.
But probably not healthy.
But probably not very healthy at all. Mm-hmm. Whereas I, work out on the regular, I love French fries. But
who doesn't really?
Who doesn't, right? But, I still look like this. Mm-hmm. And, it's hard. I mean, even to shed those pounds. Oh gosh, it is such a mental commitment, and sometimes even like a financial commitment too. And sometimes your body's just working against you on that. And so it's just, like I said, I don't focus on, the counting, the calories in, the calories out. Just be smart about it. Use the tools at your disposal. I mean, if you feel that you want to get a dietitian to help you like figure out your DNA and work that out. I mean, good for you if you could do that. That's great. Some of us can't, and we're just kind of taking it day by day, making those small improvements. Yeah, okay, I'm probably not going to shed the pounds as quickly as I'd like to, but at the end of the day, I'm still feeling good. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay. So again, anyone who's watching, this is you dipping the toe in the crusade.
Yeah.
What do you want to leave people with a final advice in terms of about what it means to be fat and fabulous?
It means being loving, being joyful, and being unapologetic.
Amazing. And your handles on all of the socials, as you put it?
Again, you can reach me at Little Bit Alaina, or on Facebook at just Alaina Young.
All right,
So.
and that's Alaina. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Thank you for having me, Jessica.
I appreciate your message.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching Voices Unheard from Unicorns Live. We're here every week, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. You can join us online, or you can join us right here live and in person. I'll see you again next week.